Hello and welcome to the next episode of Two Girls Talk Transits. Today we're going to review the astrology from August 24th through August 30th, 2025. And we're your hosts. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Kaylee.
Welcome back. We are coming off of the new moon in Virgo, and 2 days after the new moon in Virgo, on the 25th, which is Monday, we will have Venus entering into Leo. And this is our, kind of our official move more out of all the cardinal energy. I mean, the sun has obviously been moving ahead, but we've been in this big like cardinal T square with Mars, Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter, and now Venus is entering into Leo, the fire sign. I like Venus and Leo. I think it's just like a really more expressive Venus of like really wanting to share her aesthetics and beauty, and so there is more of an expressiveness energy, and I don't know. It's not I mean, the main aspects are about to happen this week, so we'll talk more about it. But it's not like a really necessarily hard place for Venus to be, but it is one that like increases the fire, the energy, and like the more passion. I just feel like Venus and Cancer, while really sweet with Jupiter there, was like really passive. Like she was just very much like more in the background, I felt, but that may be more my chart too. How do you
Yeah,
feel about it?
yeah, that totally makes sense. Like from your chart's perspective. I think
Right.
yeah, I think Venus and Cancer, I could really see how it could be like a more feminine, more like receiving space. Whereas like
Right.
moving into Leo is like gathering more yang energy and like applying that to Venus. So it's like maybe instead of like sitting back and like, being like cutesy feminine or waiting for things to come to you, it's more like I'm going to, take action on my desires or whatever it may be, like because Venus represents desires, right? So in Cancer, maybe we're like expecting like our desires to just come to us. And in Leo, we take more of like an active approach to like, go out and get those or achieve those or like be those in some way, like express those things so we can achieve desire. I always think I reflect on Venus and Leo sometimes because my daughter has this placement and
No.
I always think like, what's that gonna be like? But she has it in its joy in the fifth house, and I'm like, oh, that's so
No.
cool. Or no, the sun's in its joy in the fifth, but where's Venus in its joy in the seventh?
No, the Venus is in a joy in this fifth. The Sun
The
is in a
fifth?
joy in the ninth.
In the ninth. There. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm getting confused. Yeah. So, anyways, it's in its joy in the fifth, and then yeah, another girl I had met one time, I read her chart and she did OnlyFans and she had Venus in Leo. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's so fitting though. Like really expressing yourself and like wanting to be seen like through, Venus domains, like, your sensuality or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, that
maybe
like
go ahead.
no say like the hyperfeminism or like the really
Hmm.
outward expressive of feminine energy, but also like sexual aesthetic energy and like the desire, not the Venus represents our desire, but also our ability to like cultivate desire within ourselves or like other people with how we dress and
Right.
express.
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
desire to be desired, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, but I think Venus and Leo will be cool. I think it'll be like a cool shift. And nothing like it's not in detriment or anything. It's not, struggling there by any means. So,
No.
yeah,
I
I
think it
think
even helps us like in terms of like when she was in Cancer, she was like she's still ruling Mars and Libra, and like now at least she's not in a square aspect. Like there's not like a conflict with Mars. Like
right.
she's more like helping the malefic placements right now from this position.
Yeah, I agree. It's about to enter your first house. That's a nice little
I know, I do enjoy Venus in my first
I loved
a
Venus
lot.
in my first. I was like, so beautiful. So yeah, in general, I think it'll be nice. Do you want to say anything else about that?
No, we can talk about our aspects, so go ahead with that.
Okay, so it's happening on the same day, actually. I had to bump it ahead to the 26th, but on the 25th, it's trining Saturn. And the last aspects we had to Saturn, we had Uranus sextiling it last week. And then about a week and a half ago, we had the Mars Saturn opposition. So now we're kind of like moving forward from those things, and we have a trine to Venus. And I think that this is like a nice little progression of events. When we had the Mars opposition to Saturn, I think there was like some kind of frustration that we were feeling like pretty intensely. Um, when we sextiled Uranus, it was like, okay, I want to make a change. I want to shift some things because of that frustration that I felt. I'm going to decide to do things differently, probably pertaining to wherever Gemini is in your chart, and or even like Mercury in general, whatever Gemini rules. And then we have this trine to Venus here. I think that's, like a positive progression of maybe the change that we wanted to make, or feeling, more hopeful about where we're going or what we're doing. And I think like also a really beautiful opportunity to like restructure our desires, or kind of balance things out in the terms of like, what am I going for? And it feels, I think, quite supported by the stars, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, like this is what I was thinking, like with Venus being more helpful to the malefics instead of like I feel like in Cancer she was kind of a victim, like just a bit, like
Hmm.
like I want to enjoy this Cancer energy and I want to make it soft and pretty, and then I'm so annoyed that Saturn is here and making me work. And
Right.
then now she's like, okay, let me be aligned. I'm going to try and I'm going to align with Saturn now and be like, this is actually my desire and this does require some work. So what work can I do to make that desire solidify and like real in a real sort of commitment in my life now?
Mhm.
And like and eventually later, much later, she'll have that sextile to Mars again, same kind of energy, just being able to align, like she's working better with the malefics and like helping ease the tension from Saturn and Mars versus like
Yeah.
being caught in the middle of it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think, yeah, that's nice, like easing malefic tension is always a win for me. And I think too it's nice, Mars is starting to like it's been like backing away. Um
Yeah.
and it's, essentially going to move into Scorpio in a much happier space. But yeah, I think this comes in at like a little point where we're like, the overall tension of things is kind of releasing a bit. Venus is like giving her little layer of like fairy dust, like, we can like chill for a moment, or like, at least feel good about the way things are going.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think she's trying to do her best. Like, I don't think it's gonna be all easy. I think maybe this week is not too bad, but we're going into eclipse season, so like, that is just
Well,
always
yeah, we
chaotic.
do have that. Yeah. That is coming
Right.
up.
So, but I do think Venus in a fixed fire sign is going to do her best in terms of keeping the peace and like keeping things like happy and more upbeat and more just hey, we can do this kind of energy versus like I said, like just feeling like run down from it.
I agree.
So, but she does have other aspects. So then the Tuesday, the 26th, is when she's doing everything else with all the outer planets, literally all the outer planets. So she is then trining Neptune, in Aries and sextiling Uranus. And then I think the main one that we're thinking about though is this opposition to Pluto, which is probably going to be the more challenging
Hmm.
aspect. But there is this I like when you draw the chart because it's like so literal. Like all the outer planets are exactly 1 degree. They're all in interaction with each other as well, which is really fitting. But it's just this sort of like kind of hopeful awareness or alignment with the collective energy. Like Uranus is asking for a change and Neptune's asking for a dream. We can usually get behind those too. Venus is like, yes, these are the structures that I need for this dream that I want to manifest, and it's going to bring these changes into this place. But I feel like the opposition to Pluto is like, but there are all these challenges. There's these secrets that you don't know about. There's these government or authority figures telling you that you can't do this. And you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a change in a structure that is really overbearing and authoritative and like oppressive in a way.
Yeah, especially because Pluto in Aquarius very much represents like systematic issues. Um,
Yeah.
so I could definitely see it where you're like coming face to face with like, like we can learn all of the like manifestation techniques in the world, right? Like we can learn like um, how to believe in ourselves and love ourselves and like think we have all this worth and all this, wonderful things, whatever. And then
All
we
this
like,
abundance. The world's so abundant. I'm so abundant. Sorry, but like,
right.
yeah, that's like
Yeah.
that's what they advertise, you know?
Yeah, we can think all of these things, and that's fine and dandy, but until you like apply it to the system that you live in, like sometimes it just is not going to work out. Like, for example, if you're like living in a third world country, let's say, and you're like, I'm going to be a millionaire, that might not be very accessible living in that third world country. So it's like you can think all these great things, but we have to like look at the biggest picture possible. And I think that's where Pluto comes into play. That's like, you know, there is like a side to this where it's like you cannot control. Pluto is very much like out of your control. So,
Yeah, it is. It's like everything, all the power that is to be around you that like sets the standard. Uh, I don't know. When you were saying all that, I was just thinking about like when Venus was in Cancer, as like how it was kind of blind to all these outer planet interactions, except for like Neptune. But
yeah.
that was like, I feel like that felt at a time where we were like, oh, I see all this horrible shit going on outside of me. Like, what's going on in DC right now, or just like other things that are like real extreme use of power and control. But the Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer was like, but I'm okay here. I'm safe here. And Venus moving into Leo is like, oh no, no, I'm not. I can't be safe anymore. Like I can't play it safe. I can't just hide away in my bunker and like
Mm-hmm.
pretend that none of this is happening. Like that this is a real moving to whatever you're moving to, whatever your desires are, you are going to run into those government, those authority, or those bigger powers at play. They're going to actually start to affect your life now.
Yeah, I think Venus in Cancer too was like realizing like or maybe like not realizing, like perceiving that like, oh, maybe those things don't really affect me, but they affect other
Right.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moving into Leo is actually realizing, oh, actually, these do affect me in some way and what I want. So now I need to like be more fiery about my approach or whatever it may be. But um I do want to like emphasize that although we might be feeling like very fired up and like very like ready for whatever challenge may present, like I think those like systematic things are very real. And, you
Yeah.
know, like as much as we may try, um, it's like a Pluto's playing the long game, so
Yeah.
we got to also play the long game in some way. And, maybe those things take time, a lot of time. Yeah.
It does. I don't know. Tuesday's gonna be such a rough day because like Venus opposite like the Pluto, and then the moon's in Libra conjuncting Mars, both by Venus. Like I just feel like it's going to be very giving, very Mars,
Yeah.
Pluto energy.
Tuesdays in general already are like, I can totally feel they're so Mars. So whenever there's like additional Mars energy, I'm like, no.
It's just a real challenge. Like,
Yeah.
we've been talking a lot about like general collective energy, but like personally for you, it would just be like Venus moving into Leo sparks some sort of passionate direction that you would want to go or something, and then like running into Pluto or just like running into secrets about it or hidden challenges that you didn't know, and it's requiring you to fight a lot more or like take some more aggressive action on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, it's
Hmm.
not very comfortable. I mean, once Venus gets past this, I do like her better in Leo, but it does seem like she has to deal with the underworld first. Like she has to deal with what she's avoided when she was comfortable and cozy in Cancer.
It very much reminds me of like the story of Persephone and Hades when like he
Yeah.
takes her to the underworld, right? So this like in Cancer,
Right.
she would have been like very submissive. She would have been like, "Okay, fine, like I'll be down here with you." And then like
Right.
when she moves into Leo, she's like, "All right, Hades, like it's my time to go. I'm ready to get out." And he's like, "No, you're staying with me." And then she like starts getting pissed. So it's like
Yeah.
very much like, I'll submit for a little bit, but not forever.
Right, exactly. It is. It's like now actually we're going to challenge these powers to be and like really try to, I don't know, just confront the issues that we have been pleasantly ignoring.
Right. Right, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, we've been ignoring like with a smile on our face. Okay.
Yeah.
So the last thing we have here besides the moon moving is Neptune and Aries, sextiling Uranus and Gemini. And that's
Mm,
happening on the 28th. I think it goes exact.
yeah.
So we have two planetary interactions here. This will like persist until either Neptune or Uranus moves a degree. I'm not sure which one is going to happen first. Do you know which one moves forward first?
Well, Neptune's moving backwards. And
Oh
then
yeah,
Uranus is
it
about
is.
to
It's in
station
retrograde.
retrograde. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you kind of want to like look at the outer planets like as like a bigger orb, though. We're just literally talking about the day they go exact to the minute, but like for the most part, they've been in this configuration for like
right,
a
for a
month or
while.
two. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think anything like major is gonna happen on this day. This is like Maddie mentioned, like more of longer term energy. It just might be like whatever change is happening is creating an air of like confusion or like uncertainty. Either it being you're personally confused or about like what change you want to make, or on the converse side, it would be like the change that's happening is confusing. Like you don't know how to perceive that or what to do with that or, you know, just having an air of like uncertainty around it. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of like persisting for a while. I think we can really see this like in governmental forces right now. Like a lot of change is happening and we're like, is this happening? Is it not happening? Are we sure? Are we not sure? Like we don't even know kind of what to make of a lot of things. So as much as this is happening externally, I think it also might be happening internally. On this day, you might feel a little bit more, but otherwise, I think it's kind of like a broader transit.
Yeah, it is a broader transit and it is very much about like the collective forces outside of it. But I mean, Neptune, Uranus, though, can be really good for like, I guess, a more positive construction. It's just like really more creative, idealistic ideas, or like,
Mm-hmm.
like trying something new, taking a risk of something new, but having the faith that it would work, even if it logically may not seem like it would work, or really trying to align your like ability to have faith with the change that's unfolding. Like, I think a bigger outer planet alignment at play is really the Pluto trining Uranus because that's getting really close, and I think it'll get exact in September. And that is like, the choices the government are making are creating a lot of change collectively. And then it's like this aspect is like, okay, if you know that your life is not going to be the same as it was 2 to 3 years ago or even last year, what can you like do constructively about it? Like, can you change with it? Can you have faith about what is happening and trust this process and maybe take a risk yourself that's different and unique, but like puts you outside of your box to try some sort of new experience or have some sort of open mind about something that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah, I think that's a like a really nice positive spin on it, like expansion of the mind or expansion of thought in some way. Yeah, and like trying new things. I think that would that's that would be really like a cool way I think to reflect on things and be like, how can I do what has not been done before or I have personally not done before because I haven't believed it was possible.
Right.
Yeah, and try, we're all just trying things, so just try and see how it goes.
Yeah. I just think it's like a precursor eclipse energy where it's like you don't know what's going to change, but these eclipses are going to change a lot of things because they're immutable signs. And like that's just what mutable placements do. And so like a lot of things are going to change. And they probably already are changing from the new moon last week. So how do you just accept that and like align with it more versus fight against it? That's the sextile relationship, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Is. So,
Yep. Cool.
well, I think that's all we have for this week. Very much about Venus and Leo, which is exciting though. And if you want more content from us, then just follow us on TikTok or Instagram at Two Girls Talk Transits, as well as our YouTube at Two Girls Talk Transits for more info there.
Okay, see you.
See you next week.